There is something you have to know about capitalism. And I'm saying this because for the past few years, I've been seeing a lot of conversations on social media with opposing opinion when it comes to capitalism. Some are speaking in favor of capitalism and some are speaking against capitalism. And I said, let me dive deeper into this topic to understand more, because you can agree with me. We have been taught about this topic in school. And according to the books, capitalism is simply an economic system where individuals and businesses are allowed to own property and means of production just for the main goal of producing profit, rather than the state or the government. This is what we have been taught in school. So from this basic definition, you can see capitalism is simply just an economic system which allows people to operate freely. But later on, I said, let me dive more into this topic to understand about it. And I did some study, and now I can say I've reached to the point where I think I understand a little bit more about capitalism than what we are simply taught in school. I cannot tell all about capitalism now, but this is what I can tell you. Capitalism, just like anything else in the world, has a good side and a bad side. So if it falls on good hands, then we can see the good side of it. If it falls on the bad hands, we can see the bad side of it. For instance, if it falls on good hands, capitalism can be used to fund initiatives that are good for humanity, initiatives that supports the good cause and impacts people positively. You understand what I'm saying? But if it falls on the bad hands, then capitalism can be used to control economies of different countries, economies of people. It can be used to control even people directly. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I've come to learn, that capitalism nowadays has been used as an instrument to control people, to control governments, to control countries, to bring some people to their knees. This is what capitalism has been doing nowadays. Capitalism is all about money because it uses money to exercise control. For instance, we have been hearing the governments controlling the economies of their countries. How do they do that? By simply injection or reduction of money from the systems. This is how they control the prices. We have been hearing how Mr. Trump has been imposing the tariffs on foreign products. And this is how they control the flow of, ready-made products from outside of the United States into the United States of America. And when this happens, that means maybe sometimes this can yield to people getting jobs, because if products are no longer imported from outside, maybe they're going to have to be produced from inside. And when they are being produced from inside, that means more people are going to get jobs by simply control of money. So you can use money to control economies, you can use money to control prices, you can use money to control jobs, you can use money to even control people. We have seen the sanctions being imposed against some countries. Why? Because maybe they just want certain governments to accept certain conditions being imposed on them. How do they do that? You just say, we no longer accept the flow of goods between our countries. We are going to freeze the money that we have, that you have in our accounts or something like that. That's how it goes. I like to liken money to a blood. Yes, blood of a human, an animal, something like that. And in case you haven't heard, also, it has been said that blood carries life. Why do you think blood carries life? I think blood carries life because it is responsible in the distribution of foods, of oxygen, of important liquids into the body. It maintains the pressure, the temperature of the body, and anything which can disrupt the flow of blood can result into losing of life itself. So if we have something like heart issues, which may result in unregulated blood pressure, or we have cholesterol in the blood vessels, or we have anything that can distort the system. For instance, even we may even have external control. Someone can say, you know what, why don't we control your blood flow using an external machine? We inject into your body and it flows like that. If there is nothing wrong with you and somebody introduces the machine to you to control the blood flow, it will lead into some problems, serious problems. And that's exactly how money works in any society. If a society has this natural flow of money, this is how, all important things are being evenly distributed in the society. Value is created, value is distributed equally. And this is how we attain the so-called, self-sustainable development of that particular society. But when we have reached to the point where someone from outside introduces, say, additional money into the system, or introduces anything which can restrain the natural flow of money in that society, I'm going to tell you that the economic life of that society will eventually vanish into the thin air. Speak of grants and loans that are being introduced into Africa, speaks of the cheap products, being introduced into many African countries. None of this has ever helped Africa, rather than keeping it even poorer and dependent. Now, let me speak about this in relation to Finland and maybe other European countries. Yeah, this is what I'm going to tell you, that currently, most of activities that are happening in these countries, they are happening on the basis of grants and donations, something like that. And I would say, first of all, this is good for the European countries, because these institutions that provide the grants and donations, they are acting on the best interest of European countries, which is fantastic. But the danger comes in, especially for us as foreigners, when we come in here. We come in here and we adapt the mindset that, we should have access to things, to services, to support free of charge. Why? Because they are not asking for money, because they are not asking for anything. And they are doing this for so long, to the extent that we think this is how life is. When in reality, to keep that sustainability, there has to be a continuous exchange of value. Somebody has to be giving money, somebody has to be giving values. There has to be a constant exchange of values. This is how sustainability works. Yeah, but we are now made to adapt this new system where you just receive, and you give nothing in return. Yeah, and like I said, this is good for European countries. This is how their economies develop. But the thing is, what is it developing in our minds as internationals in European countries? What is developing? Because now we have reached to a point where if someone comes with a real value, but is not from the system where he benefits from the grants, then he does not get to serve anyone. Why? Because he doesn't get the support, and he doesn't get people to go there to purchase the items. Why? Because they think they should have free of charge. You understand what I'm saying? But he has the value which could benefit me, but I'm saying, no, I'm not going to take you because you're not giving it free of charge. And we are doing this to all people. And tell you what, the most people who do not benefit from the grants and donations are foreigners, which means that this system of grants and donations mostly affects foreigners. Most foreign entrepreneurs, they end up closing their business because they are not getting the support, and because they're doing it on their own. It becomes hard to even acquire customers. Even their fellow foreigners, they don't get to access, to go and purchase their services. Why? Because they're not free of charge. So let me just wrap up by making this call. As internationals in Finland, as internationals in other European countries, Sweden, Denmark, and everywhere else, let's do our best intentionally to adapt a new system of thinking, that we should prioritize value exchange rather than just reception of goods and support and services free of charge. It is good when it comes to a point where you get access to those things free of charge. Fantastic. But don't put it forward to an extent where you would even treat a foreign entrepreneur the same way. You go and ask for services free of charge. You say, you should have this free, I should have access to this free of charge. Why? Because maybe the government gives us free of charge, so you should too. Man, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, let us put forward, the thought that we should have exchange of value. I know sometimes you may say money is the reason, but I'm telling you, actually somebody says money is an idea. If you think, you have the scarcity of money, you will have the scarcity of money. If you think you have the abundance, you will have the abundance of money. Yeah, but other things, you know, can just fit in the narrative or the mindset that you have chosen to have. Yeah, this is what I can tell you.